welcome to my channel. If you're new here and you like shopping, crafting, and everything on a budget, this is the channel for you. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell and select all. This way you're notified every time I upload a brand new video. Today we have some fabulous DIYs for you. Let's get started and jump right in. Okay guys, so for this one we're gonna need 6 boxes from Dollar Tree, and they're the little boxes with the drawers that have the cutouts in them, but we're not gonna see the cutouts because we're gonna be facing the drawers towards the back, so you're not gonna end up seeing the cutouts in the final product. So the 4 of them I had started to paint because originally I was going to use them for a different craft, but I decided to use them for this one, so I had started the painting process. So I'm just going to continue, and I'm using chalk paint in Elephant, Waverly chalk paint, and covering the whole thing. Now you want to cover the bottoms of the drawers and the insides and the tops on every drawer and every cube. And you just want to make sure that you give it a good cover. I only did 1 coat because we're going to distress it, so it's okay if the wood peeks through just a tad. And like I said, you want to make sure that you get the outside of the drawer, the bottoms, the tops, the insides. Okay, so here I'm using some some wooden knobs that I got at Hobby Lobby. And you need 2 packs of them because I believe they come in a 4-pack, and they were only just a couple dollars. This is what we're going to use on the front of our drawers. So we're going to take those and we're going to start to paint those in Waverly Elephant as well. And I'm sorry if this is a little out of screen right there. I had a lot of boxes on the table, so it's a little out of frame. And so we need 6 of these because it's going to be for our drawer inserts, so that we can pull out the drawers without having to try to pry them open. And you guys can do any color that you want. I did elephant because I was going for a certain look with my decor, but you can use any color really to paint these and then for distressing. Okay, now here I go in with my chip brush, and I'm using Waverly chalk paint in white. And I'm gonna go ahead and distress. Now, I gave a really strong, heavy-handed distress look to it because I almost wanted the drawers white with just a little bit of brown peeking through. I'm sorry, gray peeking through. And so that's why mine looks so heavy-handed. Once again, this is just an idea. Fits with my decor, so you can go ahead and use any combination that you wish. And once again, you don't have to distress it over the whole entire thing. See how that drawer shows just a little bit of gray peeking through? That's how I wanted it to be. So that's why I gave it such a thick coat of the Waverly white. And you're just going to do this to all the drawers and all the cubes. And you want to make sure that they're uniform and that each one has similar amounts of gray peeking through. And that's why I go over it a couple of times, if you notice, when I'm done with it. And once again, this is just an inspiration for you guys. You can choose to do any type of distressed look that you want to do. It doesn't have to be as thick or heavy-handed as I did. And now I go through and I'm using my chip brush and the Waverly white chalk paint to go ahead and distress the knobs that we're going to be using for the fronts of our drawers. And you just want to make sure you give it a good coat. Okay, now here I'm showing you that the insert is going to go towards the back of the drawer so that we have a good flat surface on the front so that we can adhere those knobs. And I'm using E6000 and hot glue. And the E6000 is going to give it that permanent hold, and the hot glue is going to give it that temporary hold just so it can start to stay in place while it dries. Just make sure that when you're doing this that you don't mix the E6000 and hot glue together, because it could change the consistency of it. You just want to make sure that wherever you go with the E6000, you go opposite with the hot glue. And we're just going to glue these drawers together, 3 of them, and I'm just using hot glue to go ahead and add the knobs on. And I have my finger protector on as usual because I'm always burning myself with the glue gun. And then we do the same process for the top set of drawers. And now you can make this with 6 drawers like I did. You can make it with 4 drawers. You can make it with 8 drawers. However you want to do it, it's your own creation. And then we're going to make sure we have a good amount of hot glue on there and a good amount of E6000, and we're going to stack the drawers. And then we go ahead and we add the knobs onto the second set of drawers. And there you have it. And I go through and just distress a little more to make it more uniform. And here's our DIY number 2. So you're going to take 4 wooden pallets from Dollar Tree. The family sign, I got at Target in the Target dollar spot. Then nautical rope from Dollar Tree. Some floral from Dollar Tree. And some twine from Dollar Tree. And you're gonna go ahead, and I used apple barrel acrylic paint in nutmeg brown, and I mixed some water in with it to make like a stain. And so you'll see I'm going through with the rag and wiping it off because I don't want that thick coat of paint, I want the wood to show through a little bit and let it look almost like it's stained rather than painted. And you want to make sure you get in good in the inside of the pallet. You don't have to worry about getting the underneath part of the wood, because when you hang this, you're not going to see it, because the family sign is going to be blocking any wood showing through. So you're not going to see the inside part, if you know what I mean, of the pallet. And just make sure you cover it well, mixing in with the acrylic paint and water. And if it comes too heavy handed and you realize that one is maybe a little darker than the other ones, you can always go in with a baby wipe and wipe it down, and that'll take some of the stain off, so it'll come out lighter. That's what I had to do with one of them, because one of them was a little darker than I wanted it. So I went in with that baby wipe and I wiped it down, and it ended up coming out the same color as the other three. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with my Waverly chalk paint in white, and I'm gonna go ahead and paint this sign. Now the family sign is a thick sign, so it has the top and underneath part that's pretty thick, so you want to make sure that you give it a good coat of paint and make sure that you get in all of those crevices like you're going to see me do in just a minute, because you really want to get the top of the sign, the bottom of the sign, in between the Y and the M, so that none of the plain wood is showing. Now I only gave this one coat because I didn't mind if some of the wood was peeking through a bit. I wanted it to have a little bit of a distressed look, so I didn't mind if it was not as perfectly covered. But like I said, you can do whatever you want with your creation. And we're almost done painting. I gave the back a coat too, just so it's finished. But like I said, only one coat. Okay, now I go in with my chip brush and that nutmeg brown apple barrel paint, acrylic paint, and I go ahead in and I distress the family sign a bit. As you can see, I'm getting most of the paint off of my brush. As you can see, it goes on a little heavy there, so I wipe some off. Then I realize that it's a little too dark for my liking, so I go in with the chip brush and I dry brush over it in white Waverly chalk paint again. And just make sure that you get it to your liking. Okay, now here we're gonna take, I used Fix-All adhesive from the Dollar Tree and hot glue, and the Fix-All adhesive is gonna give it that long hold. The hot glue is gonna give it that temporary hold so that the Fix-All can dry. And I went ahead and I glued the pallets together and glued them sideways so that our sign would fit. And if you're wondering what's underneath my sign, is a dog pee-pee pad. I use these for painting. so that the paint absorbs to it, and it just keeps your surface nice and clean. Okay, so once we glue the family word on, our sign is almost done. We're gonna take the little sprig of lilac and some boxwood stems, and we're gonna tie them together with some jute twine and just make a little knot. And then I go ahead and I take hot glue in a minute and go ahead and glue that on. Right now I'm taking the nautical rope and I'm kind of splitting it in two because I didn't want that thick of a hanger for it. So as you can see, I'm just pulling it apart. And so once I pulled it apart, I just fed it through the sides of the pallets and made a little tie, knotted it. And then I'm just taking hot glue and I'm going in and securing those ends onto the back of the pallets. And then I take my floral and I go ahead and glue that on. And there you have it, an easy family sign, very beautiful.